Monday Night Football, baby. We're here.
There's only one other good play on Minnesota.
Touchdown in 46 seconds. Punches back. Touchdown.
We're back for another NBA Hardwood show here on the Run Pure Sports YouTube channel with my guy, DC. Two-man booth here. So smash the like button on the video for this Friday 5-game banger we got over on DraftKings. 5 games on this slate all throughout the night here. Night capper is an awesome game, too. We got Denver at OKC. SGA is supposed to be back for this game, DC. Jamal Murray's questionable. So some interesting things for DFS and for the game itself. I'm pumped for that game. But we got a few, okay games on the slate. And then we got some, tankathon games here. So it should be interesting. Full DFS slate we got.
Yeah, spread out too. 2.5 hours between the first and the last game, which we don't often see, especially on a shorter slate on DraftKings. So kind of got to follow the news probably, especially with the Jamal Murray questionable stuff. We got Dallas with a lot of guys out. So they're going to be a popular team tonight for sure. It's kind of, I think the top down view of the slate is how much Dallas do you want? Potentially Cleveland going to be shorthanded as well at Detroit. So looks like a pretty solid 5-game slate over on DraftKings.
Yeah, Dallas. Dallas, we had some good calls yesterday. I know me and Big T were both on Najee Marshall. He smashed my boy Precious Achua with a 60 burger. A few good calls. Saw some good screenshots from the people in the Discord here. Hopefully we can recreate it. Sadiq Bey just having like an insane season. DC too. So many like weird. And I think the more we go through like from now all the way through to April, we're going to continue to see this because a lot of these like 6th, 7th, 8th man guys are going to start to get like the better 2nd, 1st, 3rd type roles on a team. So we're going to probably see more of this as we go on with these not even secondary guys. Like I don't even know, like 4th or 5th guys on the team becoming like the best players.
Yeah, we see it every year in the NBA, and especially with the backup point guards, ball handlers. These guys, when they get a chance, right, to be like the primary focus of the offense, there's a lot of guys in the NBA that can put up fantasy points in a hurry if they're handed the keys to the offense, right? We see it all the time. Like, especially, I think the backup point guards or even guys like Najee Marshall, right, who are kind of thrusted into that role. They're capable of big games. I think there's like a less of a talent discrepancy at those positions, especially. It's unlike other sports, right? You get like a scrub 5th wide receiver that gets a chance, and they'll put up like 1 catch oftentimes. But that's not the way it works in the NBA. If these guys get a chance, every team puts up like 100+ points almost every game. So fantasy points are always scored no matter what. And players that get in that role, they perform. So it's going to be something to keep an eye on as we, not wind down this NBA season, but we're getting to the point now where some of these teams are changing roles for players, and you got to pay attention.
Listen, man, I wasn't on the show yesterday. If this is one of the reasons why you should become a member. I was talking about Precious in the Discord. I even added some. I told everyone I'm playing Precious tonight. Everything like that. He was in the core. I can't help you. I wasn't on the show. That's why you got to become a member, man. I get it though.
That's on me and Big T. We didn't talk about Precious. I can confirm that.
Well, shame on you guys. Then shame on you. I'm with him. You didn't talk about no, but in all seriousness, I was just saying there were some good calls last night. Some people won money. I'm not saying that they all came from the show. That's why you should be a member. Just throwing that out there. But, And
yeah, it's hard to get to everybody, especially when you're doing kind of the early show like we did yesterday. But I had a good night. A lot of RPS people had good nights, so I think we did all right. We'll try to do even better today.
That's what I'm talking about, bro. Let's go. Roko Shack. I played Precious from JSU in the Discord. JSU Precious Whisperer. That's right. Where's Beanair? I told Beanair, I said, because Beanair asked me every single day for like the last 3 Precious slates. He's like, we on them, we off them. What are we doing? I told him, I said, last slate, I said, well, first one, I said to play him, he smashed. Second one, I said, fade him. This isn't the good matchup. And then yesterday, I'm like, we're playing Precious. And I added Beanair. And I was like, Beanair, we're playing Precious. So if you're out there, Beanair, let everyone know, because I told you, I said, we're playing Precious tonight. So, yeah, late call, police. Yeah, we were actually close to on time, DC, today. Just throwing that out there. We were, I think, like a minute off. That's not bad. That's like on time for the show.
Yeah, I think we get like a 3-minute grace period. So we
3 minutes?
Yeah.
I would say like 5.
Yeah. I didn't want the police called on me by Benny Tingman here. So, I was
well, no one wants the police called on them, but
no.
I get what you're saying. I think when it's like me and you, or you and Big T, you're right. 3 minutes is probably good. When it's me and Big T, though, I think like 5 to 10 grace period is like absolutely fair, because for whatever reason, we're definitely the worst combo when it comes to being on time. That's just.
I'm here ready to rock when the at the start time. So I'll say that for myself. And I do got to continue. I said I'd give one away every day. Baseball future on DraftKings. JSU, I've given away some Nolan McLean props. Those are looking good. Those numbers are starting to move. So jump on those McLean, whether it's wins, Cy Young, Rookie of the Year, strikeouts. They all still look really good to me. Gave away Carter Jansen, AL Rookie of the Year, plus 600 yesterday. That's still out there. Today's prop, Ronald Acuna to lead MLB in stolen bases, 25-1, plus 2,500. 2 stolen bases today. He said he's going to run wild. He's got a 70 stolen base season in the books already, and 25-1, way too high on Ronald Acuna leading the MLB in stolen bases.
All right, I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah, no, me and DC were throwing it back and forth in the Discord yesterday, and I was like, man, I know he likes this Nolan McLean dude. What about strikeouts? It's like 200-1 for him to lead baseball in strikeouts or something like that.
That's still up there too, but I don't think it's going to last long. So I'd jump on that one if you can.
I feel like the steam and me and you have been doing those like MLB best ball drafts a little bit more and more as we're getting close to the season. And I feel like the steam, like you can tell when you do those best ball, whatever sport it is, when a guy starts to get bumped, because like you can just never get him where you normally get him in the beginning. And he's one of those guys, DC. Like if you want to draft him, you gotta almost now always draft him like 10 spots before ADP, because you just never get him.
I was doing a draft right before the show, and I did jump him ADP. I also made a big best ball rankings update to the sheet, jumped him quite a bit, made a bunch of changes there. So for members, check that out if you're in the MLB best ball streets.
Yeah, that's a good call. Make sure you look at the upgraded rankings if you're gonna draft some teams on for best ball or for your regular season, whatever it is, because you can use it for whatever you're really drafting for, right, DC? Whether it's like season long or best ball, like use it for either or, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the rankings would be different, but it gives you a good idea of kind of how I view these players. And McLean in particular, I'll be jumping him ahead of ADP. Like, I don't know. I would take him for sure top 40, maybe even higher if he kind of continues his spring trajectory. So, yeah, I'll stay ahead of the market on certain players like McLean.
I like that. All right. And yeah, you're probably right. 15 to 20. Well, you wouldn't give us a 15 to 20 minute grace period, but yes. Yeah. 15 to 20. We have dabbled in the 15 to 20 minute late streets. I will admit it. Okay. I'm always truthful with the people. So I will admit when I'm wrong. All right. That's good. Let's, so Acuna stolen base leader, 25-1 on DraftKings.
There it is. Well, and I'm writing all these down. We'll revisit it when the season's over, but I anticipate having a pretty good season with these over at DraftKings.
Yeah, DC, this was one of the big ones, right?
Yeah, I moved him way. That was actually, I think, the only like real big error that I have. I sent it over to the editing team, and I think there was like I had him like two guys ranked the same, and then kind of defaulted to that. So yeah, Sasaki moved down a bunch.
Yeah, you still like him though, right, DC? You just not as high as you had him.
Yeah, exactly. And he'll probably start in the bullpen, but I think talented dude who's got a chance to finish in the rotation, which is the more important thing with playoff best ball.
Yep. Brittany says using the KOTC bonus bets. Shout out to Brittany for using those bonus bets. She's using them on DC's MLB props. Not a bad idea. If you got those bonus bets, burning a hole in your sportsbook account over on DK. You might as well use them, right? Right, DC? You got to use them on something. So
yeah, well, JSU doesn't have any of those. So go ahead, Brittany, get those KOTC.
You know, in a way, everyone should just start telling me when they're using their KOTC bonus bets just to rub it in just a little bit more. JSU doesn't have one yet. He's been first loser like 10 different times. I mean, I can't get it done. One of these days I'm going to get it done, but it hasn't worked. But I can't go all year, DC. It can't happen. I got to hit one before the year's over.
You're kind of running out of time, JSU. I mean, we got maybe like 4 more Tuesdays or something in the regular season. So
you think they stop it when the playoffs stop?
No, they'll definitely do something for the playoffs. So you probably got one.
Say, please don't do that. Yeah. We got to have some for the playoff. DC, if I can't hit one during a playoff slate, then I'm cursed.
Cursed is one word for it. Yeah.
I'm just saying, man. All right. That'll do it here. Let's get to this 5-game slate here. Don't forget, guys, smash the like button on the video here. Subscribe to the Run Pure Sports YouTube channel. If you're not a subscriber already, you get notified every time we go live for these shows. Just click that subscribe button, ring the bell, and get the notifications every time we go live, just in case we're a little late some days other than, on time. So, yes, let's dive in here. DC, first game up, Cleveland in Detroit. And it is the 7 o'clock game on this slate here. So all this news that we're still waiting on for this game, we will get at some point. But, James Harden, obviously the biggest piece of news, questionable, didn't play last time. That's kind of Dean Wade doubtful is another piece of news, I guess, just from a minutes perspective, because he does, he still gets 20, 25 minutes some games. So that's something from a minutes perspective. But, obviously James Harden's the big thing here, because if Harden's out, DC, it again opens up, the Dennis Schroeder maybe playing 30-plus minutes again. He got 38 fantasy points last game, played 35 minutes instead of his 20, 22 minutes. We saw Tyson's role kind of get increased a little bit. Now Evan Mobley is back, so maybe that would hurt Tyson a little bit. Not from a minutes perspective, but maybe just the role perspective, it might hurt him a little bit. But obviously there were some, big beneficiaries to James Harden being out because, Donovan Mitchell is still out for this game here. So, and we saw Craig Porter, go from not playing some games to getting 22 minutes, which we know when he gets 20-plus minutes, DC, he's a pretty good fantasy point per minute guy.
Yeah, we were on the show, I think it was Wednesday. The first game, Harden was questionable with that same hand injury, fracture in his hand. We talked a lot about it, that it seems like it's mostly a pain tolerance thing. Wouldn't be shocked if he was in there today. Obviously a pretty big game going up against Detroit, but we just have no way of knowing on James Harden right now. I said on that show, though, I thought Schroeder was a must play if Harden was out. Obviously Mitchell out too. And he played 35 minutes, 38 fantasy points at 4,600. You needed him. I don't think he's as much of a must play today, partly because of all the Dallas value. You've got Brandon Williams and Max Christie at the guard spots that I think are really good spots, good plays. So those guard spots kind of fill up quickly. But still, if Harden's out, Schroeder 58, 5,100, going to play big minutes in any type of close game if he's in the, if Harden's out. And I'd probably go back to Schroeder there. We talked about Tyson too. I mean, we've seen big games out of him when he's given the opportunity. Didn't even shoot well and put up 37 fantasy points in 35 minutes in that game. He would be another good play, 5,600. But this is a tough spot, right? Much tougher spot for Cleveland tonight than it was against Milwaukee. And, potential blowout game if Harden misses this, along with Mitchell, obviously, who's already out. So I wouldn't be surprised if Detroit ran away with this one if Harden's out, or maybe even if he's in. But yeah, Schroeder, you got to consider. Tyson looks good. I think I'm off Mobley and Jarrett Allen here. They're priced up, 8,300 for Mobley, 7,800 for Allen. He's earned the price tag, but that seems pretty high for me against a tough interior defense from Detroit. So mostly looking at kind of the guards and the wings from Cleveland. And then there's a lot of value on this slate. We'll obviously get to it as we go along. But yeah, I think Cade's a good spend up. Really, regardless of who's in for Cleveland, I like the matchup for him against either Harden or Schroeder or Craig Porter. And he seems to show up in these big games. So I do like Cade. I think I'm mostly off of the other Detroit guys. Don't love playing bigs against Cleveland when they're healthy with Allen and Mobley down there. But I think Cade's an awesome play here. So certainly got my eye on him as a spend up on the slate.
Yeah. The Cavs side, just throwing this out there, but another guy who got, a pretty solid bump was Keon Ellis, DC, who, from a minutes perspective, he was playing like 16, 20, 23, 24 minutes last couple games, got up to 29. So a pretty decent like roll bump in minutes for him. He's questionable on this slate. And along with Dean Wade being doubtful, it'll be interesting. Like if both those guys get ruled out and Harden gets ruled out, man, how does that not open up the door for Craig Porter to play even more minutes tonight if that's the case? Because Sam Merrill got 33 minutes last game. Jalen Tyson played, 35. Evan Mobley, I don't think, is back to a role where he's playing 35 minutes a night. They haven't done it yet. He's played 24, 25 minutes. I would assume if he gets bumped, it's not like a massive bump. It's like a few minutes type of a bump, like 24 to 28 minutes. Mm-hmm. So where do those minutes go? If I'm just thinking because man, the more I look at it, like if all these guys end up being out, like Craig Porter, to me, I might just have to play him at that price tag.
Yeah, you got to consider him. And I think if Wade and Ellis are out, Sam Merrill, like you said, I mean, he played 34 minutes last game. Yeah. Shot just 2 of 8 from 3. So the fantasy score wasn't that great. But Detroit, really tough on the interior. They're third fewest field goal attempts at the rim of any team in the league. And I think Cleveland, they might have to bomb away from 3 here to try to keep pace with Detroit. They're kind of outgunned a little bit. And that's Merrill's game, obviously 8 3-point attempts last game. That might be how they have to attack, especially if they've got all these guys out. So Sam Merrill, another guy I think you can consider.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think, him, Porter, Schroeder, Tyson are the guys. Yeah. I'm probably not going to spend up for the bigs, like you said. Jarrett Allen worked out for us last time we played him, but I probably won't go back there this time with the tough matchup. I think Duran is probably the guy from Detroit that I would look at a little bit. He's had some big upside games last couple games, and some of them in tough matchups too, DC. So, the matchup, I don't really worry as much with him. So I think he would be the one Detroit guy. I'm probably not going to spend up for Cade. I think there's ultimately the best clear spend up that we'll get to on this slate, and probably not going to go away from that. But yeah, I mean, these other Detroit guys, I just very rarely play these guys, like Tobias Harris we talked about. And it's like, yeah, he's got 35 in him, but he's also got the downside, and you were paying for it. Now he's down to 5,500, but 17 fantasy points. We see the downside. He could bounce back in a game like this. This could be a bounce back game for someone like him, but I rarely spend for those guys. Thompson's, hit or miss. He had a good game last time out. Probably not this time. So I don't know, DC. I'm not a big Detroit fan. I don't love attacking Detroit, but it's different when you've got a spot like Cleveland where they could potentially be out a bunch of guys. Now, if all these guys were to play, like if Keon and Harden were to be ruled in, then I'd have a little more interest in maybe the studs and not as much the cheap guys, as interesting as that is to say. So we're talking in terms of if the news goes one way and they're all out, if somehow they're all in, I'd probably be more in on a Harden or a Jared Allen and less in on the cheapies, if that were to be the case. So I just wanted to throw that out there just in case, we see that. But there's my guy, right? I was waiting for him to come in. Good to see the takes from the Precious. I was waiting for my man Benair. Also Benair, CJ McCollum. I don't know if you watched the game, Benair. He was balling yesterday. I don't know if you got to see, but that dude was hooping. CJ heard the blasphemy coming out of McFly's mouth last night in Discord, and he was doing what he wanted. DC, he was putting guys on skates, attacking three guys, scoring on them like it was nothing, hitting threes and ones from three. He was all over it. He was owning being air. So I just have to say that because
the Cleveland guys, I played 4 of them. And it worked out pretty well. I thought
who, Atlanta last night?
Yeah, Atlanta guys.
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
I thought Dyson and McCollum were, I don't want to say must plays, but really awesome plays.
I thought Dyson was like the easiest play on the board. Well, at guard, I thought he was, because the forwards were really good. Like we had a ton of good forwards like Najee and Precious and Jeremy Grant, and there were a lot of good forwards on that slate. But at guard, I thought Dyson was the easiest like fantasy click, and then I thought CJ was like the second on that team as an easy click. I thought they were like 1-2.
Yeah, and I think we've got a somewhat similar situation with Dallas where you kind of just got to play these guards for the most part.
Yeah, it feels that way with Dallas. Well, especially to the slate that we're talking. Like last night's slate, there were so many different, I think, ways to go. That's not really this slate as of now, at least. News could obviously come in DC. Everything could totally change with like 1 or 2 guys getting ruled out from a different team, that we don't know about. But the way the slate looks, it looks like there's, like one just obvious spot, and it's Dallas when we get to it. But that's Cleveland and Detroit here. Yeah, Kispert, hand up. Kispert coming out and going like 7 for 7 in his first 7 field goal attempts and having like 20 points in, I think, like a 8-minute span on the court or whatever it was. Did not see that one coming, DC. That was the revenge game I totally missed.
The Hawks guys were still awesome plays for the most part, but he did kind of ruin them just a little bit.
Dude, DC, when he was doing it, I'm like, oh my God, he's going to ruin just like the nut Atlanta spot against Washington, because he's just so, dude, it was hilarious. The announcer was even like Corey, like they're talking like Corey Kispert is like the greatest thing since sliced bread, and he's out there and he's like, he needs a heat check or something like that, and then he shoots like a bad 3 and he finally misses, and he's like, that's his heat check, that's not a good shot, but that's okay, or something like that. I was like, wow, you never see that with guys like Corey Kispert. They were loving it. They couldn't stop talking about Corey Kispert.
It ended up in a blowout, so all the guys we were on kind of missed some minutes, a little bit of minutes at the end of the game.
But they got there by then, so it was okay.
Yeah, exactly. But it could have been even better if Kispert didn't go off. All those guys probably would have got their full minutes.
What's going on, my boy? Kispert can ball. He can ball. I would love to see Kispert. Kispert needs to go to Kispert needs to go to a place where he's got like a Luka or something like that. Like someone like that, where like he could just get like some really nice looks, and he could play as like a you know, I don't know what, like a fourth option. Like he's not like stuck on the bench, DC. Like he doesn't really get the run on this Hawks team that, like a team like with Luka, he'd probably get way more chances just because of the opportunity he'd get to like.
Yeah, he's kind of a score first, really score only type of player. But yeah, generating those
Or
open looks.
Harden. He needs like a point guard like that who
Yeah.
can just attract, all the eyes, and then he gets left open or something like that. That's what he needs because he is good. I agree. He's definitely good. Switch from Bagley to Precious, 10x. Oh, man. Yeah. Oh, so you switched. Okay, you switched Bagley to Precious, and you got the 10x. Okay, I read that in reverse somehow. Yeah, that definitely makes the warm water sweeter, Rick. I got my warm water right here, Rick. We're rolling right now. Warm water season, baby. 10x. Let's go. I didn't even see that screenshot. Did you post a screenshot in Discord, Rick? Are you holding out on us? Come on.
10x. That's a nice night, 10x. So yeah, we got to get that screenshot up.
10x is a great night. If I ever 10x, trust me, I'm posting that thing. A 10x and I'm posting. All right. Let's go to game 2 here. Boston and Brooklyn. This game's in Boston. I would assume, DC, this is one of the lower totals on the slate, if I remember correctly here.
209. I mean, one of the lowest totals of the entire year, honestly.
Yeah, it's Brooklyn. It's not a great spot, I think, in general for like loading up. I think for fantasy guys here, DC, it's probably one of the more underwhelming games, I think, from that aspect. But I do think you can pick out like a Boston play if you want. There's a couple that kind of stick out to me, and I just like run by him. But obviously, you got Jaylen Brown, who I think's in a pretty good spot overall if you want to spend up for him. He's not my favorite stud, but he's definitely up there, like top 3 guys. I probably put him 2 with the pricing in play. Like if you add the pricing into it, I probably have him second here. So I definitely like Jaylen Brown. Neemias Queta has been playing pretty well. I could see in a matchup like this, him having an okay game. Peyton Pritchard seems expensive with everyone kind of healthy. Derek White seems very expensive with everyone healthy. So it's tough for me. It's like, okay, Jaylen Brown. I think Queta, if you're MMEing, I'd leave in there. Baylor Shireman's so hit or miss right now with his role. DC, do you see anything that I'm missing? Because I don't really like Brooklyn and Boston. I think it's like just picking out a one-off if you want it.
I agree completely. I think I'm outside of Jaylen Brown. I have no problem with Brown if he fits your lineup. But I mean, we talked about the low total sitting around 210. It's also one of the higher spreads that we've seen all year. Boston favored by 17 or 18 points. So you got, if it goes the way that the market expects, a low scoring, probably blowout, which is, the very worst type of fantasy game. Honestly, where I think we got some really good value. Obviously, the Dallas game coming up, we'll talk about in a few minutes. So no problem with Brown. I think Kate is fine if you need a cheap center, but I don't see much here. Field sees it the same way. Almost no ownership on Brooklyn at all. No Clowney, maybe around 10%, but nobody else really even, 5% plus. So nobody going to be on this game, but I do think that's the right approach and the one that I'll take on this slate. I'm pretty much completely off this game, JC.
Yeah, that kind of checks out. When will Boston unleash Vooch?
Never.
I don't think so. I think the role that you're seeing with Vooch, I think that's kind of the role they want him to play, DC.
Yeah.
Like the offense has never really been a struggle. It's the defense. I think Queta has done enough to at least split time with Vooch in the best case scenario for Vooch, I think. And that's close to what you're seeing. Queta's kind of outdoing him right now. Maybe when the playoffs come, it's more of an exact split, but it's just going to depend on what they need. And honestly, with Tatum coming back, I feel like they probably would less need Vooch and more need Queta out there in certain spots anyways, but Vooch will have his time. He'll have some good games, I think, where maybe he's playing well and they let him run a little bit more in the playoffs. But I just don't think you're going to see, the 32 minutes a night that Vooch was getting with these other I don't think you're going to see that with Boston unless someone gets hurt. Obviously, that could change things.
Yeah, I kind of think he was like a, kind of an insurance pickup a little bit. Make sure they
Well,
have
because they're thin at center and they don't trust Luka Garza because he can't guard on the perimeter because he can't move his feet. And he's kind of inconsistent. And after that, they really don't have much else at the center. And the center's their weakest spot. So if anything ever happened to Kada, they'd be kind of screwed if they didn't make this move. So at least they have some insurance, especially with Tatum coming back. It sounds like they're going for it with the moves that they're making and Tatum seeming like at some point he's going to be back for either the playoff run or maybe late in March to get his feet wet a little bit before the playoff run. So yeah, I don't think we're going to get like the full on 30 minutes a night that we want for DFS or to unleash him, unfortunately, for Vooch people.
His price needs to come down, I think, significantly from the current 6,300 if everyone's healthy. I mean, if Kada was out, he'd be a good play, I think, at 6,300, but obviously not the case right now.
Yeah, Boston definitely has a chance in the East, 100%. I mean, everything is, dude, they have a chance. Even if Tatum wasn't coming back, I think they had a chance in the East. Now, a chance to win everything. I don't think they beat the West without Tatum, but with Tatum, at least they have a shot. I don't know if they do it, but they at least have a shot. Tatum brings a whole different aspect to their offense. You're going to see Derek White when Tatum comes back. Guaranteed right now, Derek White is going to play so much better when Jason Tatum comes back. So much better. He's going to get so many more open looks. It's going to be insane. Derek White's not had as good of a season as I thought up to this point, but when Tatum comes back, I think that changes DC. I think he gets way better looks.
Yeah, they're going to be good if Tatum looks anything close to his normal self. They've been one of the surprises. I mean, I know people didn't really expect them to be super good without Tatum, but they've been awesome. Jaylen Brown has stepped up, obviously Pritchard and White. So yeah, they're definitely dangerous, especially if they get Tatum back.
I think if you polled most people, would Boston be closer to a top 10 pick or a top 10 team in the NBA? Most people would have said top 10 pick and not top 10 team. And right now they're top 10 team in the NBA. So
they're in a great spot. They can kind of, roll out Tatum slowly, let him get his feet wet, like you said, and go from there.
All right. Anything from the Brooklyn side, DC, or are you just totally? I'm totally off this.
Me too. I won't have any Brooklyn tonight.
Yep. Ben Saraf, my last man in. God bless, brother. God bless. I thought he was gonna at least get a chance at some point in the year. They haven't really let him go that much this year, so maybe at some point in March we see or April we see a little more Ben Saraf minutes. But let's go from that game to the Knicks and the Bucks here. Obviously, the Knicks, in it, and the Bucks completely out of it right now, DC. But I will say with the Bucks, they're at least still playing their two best players, at least, DC. They're still letting Kevin Porter and Ryan Rollins, the two best guys they got, played pretty solid minutes here. I mean, Kevin Porter, 38, 37, 31, 32, 32 his last 5 games. And Ryan Rollins pretty much, similar, right in the 30s, 35, 37, 33, 35, 32. And some of those games were blowouts, DC, or not very close games. So that's at least encouraging from the standpoint. They're not like completely blatantly taking, but they are like, they're playing them, but then they're limiting the other minutes pretty much. Like everyone else is playing like 18 to 25 minutes.
I think the Bucks are still trying to win. Giannis might be coming back soon. They're currently sit 11th in the East, so got to play well to sneak into the playoffs. But yeah, like D-Mill said, I think they're trying to win. It could go to tank mode if they lose a bunch in a row or Giannis has a setback. But you're seeing it. I've talked a lot about Rollins and Porter. I like pairing them together because their minutes are so correlated and they work well together in the backcourt too. Maybe not necessarily tonight, but I've been on those guys. They've been good to me. Prices have come up though. Rollins over 8K, Porter sitting at 8,600. I think they're okay plays tonight.
Oh, the Bucks don't have their first round pick, right, DC?
I believe that's true. Yeah.
Okay, that's what it is. That's why they're doing this. I think. I'm not 100% sure, but that's got to be what it is.
If you got Giannis coming back, you're going to try to sneak into the playoffs and see what you can do. So
they're not sneaking into the playoffs.
No, probably not. Probably not. But I mean, Milwaukee.
They're not getting over Charlotte. Maybe.
I mean, I agree with you. But they're same in the win column, 3 games back in the loss column. I just think they're still trying to get there, even maybe if they shouldn't be. But
fair enough.
Yeah, regardless, you could play them tonight if you're on this game in general. I'm probably not going to much Milwaukee tonight personally. I do think the Knicks side is pretty interesting. They are healthy, which obviously isn't ideal for DFS purposes, but I really like Towns tonight. Now we'll talk about Jokic when we get there, maybe the best spend on the slate, but Towns in this matchup against Milwaukee, 8,500. I like it. I like Towns quite a bit. He's my favorite play on the Knicks, but I think most of the guys, Brunson, Hart, OG, Bridges, all these guys I think are pretty good fillers. Not my favorite plays, but I wouldn't be shocked to see, a Nick or two on my rosters tonight at lock time.
Yeah, the Knicks are one of those teams that this is just such a good spot. I agree with what you're saying. It is a cat spot. I have a problem though when these Knicks are fully healthy playing them, DC. I know Miles McBride's out, but besides him, they're pretty damn healthy. They get Jose Alvarado, Mitch Rob's not even out, and we saw him have a. I wouldn't be shocked if he had another decent game in 18 minutes off the bench in this spot right here. Maybe he's a value play you could, plug in a little bit if you're making multiple teams. But Bridges, Hart, Anunoby, all those guys are in. I hate these spots for teams like the Knicks because I agree with you on the surface. It looks like a good spot. It looks like, someone, Brunson, Cat, one of these guys should have a good game. You're leaning Cat if you had to pick one of the two?
I do lean Cat, yeah. But, it's not like you see all these guys are the same 15 to 20% ownership. So
he should, in theory, have a good game here in this spot. It should be a Cat spot. But
yeah, if you can't get to Jokic,
Cat, so
yeah, exactly. I'm never super comfortable with Cat.
I did love when Shaq was trying to tell him he's got to be the man, and he still just wasn't picking up what he was putting down. Shaq's like, dude, you just gotta you just gotta dominate. You gotta take over. You're the man. You're the number 2. They can't stop you in the post. When you get a little on, you gotta dominate. And he's just like, well, we're a team, so however we get it done, as long as we win, I'm okay. He just says he's just the complete opposite of Shaq in every single way possible, and it's just hilarious. Listen,
that's what I was gonna say. Different attitudes for sure.
Oh man, Shaq, you got a little guy on you. You just gotta dominate him, and he's he's still just well, no.
I will say. I kind of, I'm on the Shaq side. I'm not a huge Towns fan, but easy to say when you're Shaq, right? The most dominant physical force the NBA has ever seen.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I don't know, but regardless, I like Towns. I like the Alvarado.
Shaq didn't do anything else but dominate. That's all Shaq. Shaq wasn't shooting threes. DC. He all he could do was just dominate you. You know what I mean? Bully you.
And he would still dominate today, but when he played, players were smaller in general, right? It's not like every team had massive bigs in there. So what it is.
Shaq would still be dominating for sure.
I like the
Even
Alvarado
in
call, though. 3,500. He's playing 20 minutes a night. Good player. I've always liked his game. And, if you need the savings, I do like the Alvarado call.
Towns is the worst play today. Get him, Raul. Get him. You and Raul have a rivalry. There's no Steph on this slate, so we gotta go somewhere else. So
No
Towns
Steph on any slate recently, Rahul. So. We got a beef, me and Rahul. It's been going on.
Hey, you guys got a good beef here. D Mill says, "Is it crazy to think about Sims as a punt at center if fading Jokic?" Well, first of all, you don't have to fade Jokic. To get Cade, I guess but you don't have to fade Jokic in general if you're playing Sims, but you can play two. But DC. They are playing Sims. His role is pretty good. I don't love this matchup for Sims, but you can't argue with, he's playing 29 minutes the last two games. He's had 27 and 28. I feel like that's close to his upside, but could you play Sims? I mean, like if you're probably not if I was building one team, but if I was building a bunch of teams, maybe he's someone I could get in.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue with the results from Sims, right? Like, if he was a starting center at 4,400 playing 28, 30 minutes a night.
He's kind of playing the starting center role. Like he's playing the minutes of a starting center.
That's what I'm saying. So, yeah, I definitely think he's overlooked. I mean, per Saber here, he's going to be 1% owned or something like that. I don't have a problem with it. He's been good.
I personally would take a cheaper Mitch Rob, even though he's not going to play as many minutes, because I think the upside of Mitch Rob is higher.
Yeah.
But, what's Mitch Rob going to be owned? 6% on Saber? Like, I'd rather that, I think, as opposed to the 1% Sims. But I get what you're saying in general. Sims just not a player like he's just not a guy that I like, but I can't argue with the role. The role and the minutes are looking pretty good right now for whatever reason. Like I said, Milwaukee's not like totally tanking, obviously. They're still trying to win, like DC said, but they're also not like letting all of their best players play like maximum minutes. They're letting their two best players play, and then they're rotating the other three spots to let these guys play a little bit. Miles Turner. How much did they pay Miles Turner, DC? What was his contract? Way too much for 24 minutes a night.
Yeah. Kind of seems like Milwaukee's over the Miles Turner thing, going with a lot of Sims minutes. So between the two, I would definitely rather play 4,400 Sims than 6,400 Turner.
Yes, Mitch Rob 5 points prop. Take the over. Take the over, baby. Let's points and rebounds. Let's do it. All right. That's New York and Milwaukee. Let's go to this is what I call the DFS game of the night right here. This is exactly what we're talking about when we say DFS game of the night. Not the game of the night. That's the next game. But the DFS game of the night is Memphis against Dallas in Dallas. This is a back end of a back-to-back for Dallas last night. And now DC, they're even, more, like bodies are just, they're all resting now. They're resting Clay. PJ's out. I think is Martin questionable or doubtful? I think he was questionable. Yeah. Bagley's out. So it's going to open up the spots. They do get Gafford back, I guess, which is one good thing. So you kind of take out Bagley, you throw in Gafford. I think that's how it works. Chris Middleton, of course, went from, leaving that game to playing 33 minutes last game. Now he was okay, DC. He had 28 fantasy points. It's just funny, like Chris Middleton's not, it sounds like he's not even going to get bought out for whatever reason. That was the reporting, I think, last night. So we'll see if that holds. That to me is very odd. Why wouldn't you want to get bought out and go to a team and try and win if you're Chris Middleton? I don't understand that at all, but
yeah,
whatever. Maybe. I have no idea.
Yeah, we'll see on the Middleton buyout stuff. But yeah, Dallas obviously missing Cooper Flagg, Klay Thompson, PJ Washington, Bagley now out as well. I mean, The question is how many you want to play from Dallas. I mean, I think 3, 4, maybe 5. I will say I'm a little nervous about Dallas like shenanigans here on the second half of a back-to-back. I mean, falling out of the playoff race. I wouldn't be shocked if they went to some scrubs in this game, but their guys are just so cheap that it's hard not to play them. Brandon Williams, 5,500. He's going to be in my lineup. I played him even yesterday. I had a lineup with him off the bench. He was fine at 27 minutes. I think he gets more minutes than that tonight. I like Christie here a lot at 4,800. He's been up and down, but I think the role is going to be here. I don't see how you can really fade Najee Marshall unless you're just like really think, Dallas lays an egg, but they're favored in this game against Memphis with like a 235, 240 total, something like that. So I think you got to play a bunch of Dallas. I'm going to be doing it. Middleton back-to-back and played 33 minutes. Maybe he does it again. I believe that was a season high in minutes. Hard to imagine he gets season high minutes in back-to-back games at this point in the season, but maybe. If you told me he's playing 33 minutes, I'd definitely play him, but he's the one I'm most nervous about on Dallas. Williams, Christie, and Marshall, the three that I like best, and then Gafford, who I assume will start at center, 4,400 against Memphis. Probably only going to get 25-ish minutes out of him, but that's kind of hard to pass up too. So I'm in on Dallas, and the Memphis side looks okay too.
Yeah, Andrew asked, Craig, I think that's Craig Porter Jr. or Alvarado. I think it's gonna that question totally depends on the Harden and Keon Ellis in out thing, because I think that could be a very easy answer or a much tougher answer depending on how that news goes. So yeah, that the good thing is we'll get the Harden news prior to 7, but yeah, right now I would say, if those guys are in, Harden, Keon, I'd probably lean Alvarado because I think Porter's role would be hit or miss kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But if they're out, I think that's easy Craig Porter answer.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
Yeah, Gafford is terrifying. He's definitely the guy I'm most terrified of. But he's also a guy that he can get you a decent fantasy score at that price tag in low 20s minutes, I'd say. Cause I think he plays like 22 to 24 minutes DC. It's a good matchup. Memphis is not like the biggest team. They just lost. Kyle Anderson now too. I think he got bought out. So they really have no size at all. Like this team is very lacking in size. They Prosper, GG Jackson, Hendricks. These are their bigs, DC. Those are the bigs. So this is a very small team, very guard oriented. Even their forwards are really like threes, just playing, the 3 or the 4 and 5 spots. So Gafford should have a massive advantage in this game. But I agree, he is definitely a terrifying click. I love the chalk that I love on this or in this game would be Javon Small, Brandon Williams. Those are like the chalk guys I definitely want to just buy into. Javon Small is just good at basketball. Like he's just when he gets the roll, DC, when he's starting, he gets that roll. He's good, and you could see it in his game. Even last time out where he just got the start, even with those guys in, he looked pretty damn good to me, even with everyone in. So, yeah, I think they want to see him play too. That's another good thing for Javon Small is I think the team wants him to get minutes. So that kind of bodes well for him. And then Brandon Williams, his role is pretty damn good right now as well, along with Najee Marshall and Chris Middleton. Those are the 3 guys that have the ball in their hands, DC. It's those 3 guys. They don't really have anyone else.
Yeah, a little bit of Max Christie, but he's kind of relegated a little bit to a spot-up shooter right now.
He's a wing. You know what I mean? He's a wing.
Yeah. But I'm with you with Small. I mean, it goes back to the thing we talked about at the beginning of the show. Like when these point guards get a chance to run the show, a lot of them can do it. And you would certainly expect Javon Small. I mean, he's already been showing he can do it. But in this matchup, highest total on the slate, yeah. I mean, Small looks awesome.
This
Prosper,
is the question, DC, Small or Williams?
both.
My preference would be to play both. I agree
Yeah.
with you 100%. If you make me choose, though, if Small's starting again, I'm going Small because I think he's the clear best Memphis play if he's starting. Like it's clear. And even though I think Williams is one of the best Dallas plays, I think there's way more Dallas plays that I want than Memphis plays. If you make me pick, I'd be more on that side. So you see what I'm saying? Like I see them very similar, but I think Small is by far the best Memphis guy if he's starting. So that would be my take on it.
Yeah.
If you make me pick.
Honestly, I'll probably have both in most of my lineups.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have no problem with that. Small, a little bit cheaper too. I assume it'll be Prosper that gets to start at the 5. He's been good, like 6 games in a row, getting 25, 30 minutes a night. And they don't really have anybody else to play center. So I think Prosper could even get a minutes bump from what he's been getting. I like him a ton at 4,800. But yeah, I mean, Gigi Jackson, I think you could play Taylor Hendricks. He's getting 25 minutes a night. He's 4,200. I mean, stacking this game and then getting a Cade or a Jokic seems like a pretty safe way to build on this slate. Probably going to be what the majority of my lineups look like. You're muted.
Yeah, that's one. So the Memphis side, if I just had to like rank these guys, I think it's clearly Small 1, GG 2, and then like you got like your Scottie Pippins who are more like fillers. If they kind of fit your team, I'm cool with it. Scottie, even in like 24 minutes, DC, I think he's got upside at that price tag. And who knows, with no Ty Jerome, maybe he gets a little bump. Or the bump could go to Walter Clayton or Rupert, Benair's boy Rupert. So it's between them. But and then you got like your Prosper and Hendrick conversation right there, where it's like I don't know who you lean, DC. I semi lean Prosper, but I think they're pretty close. I would lean Prosper though.
I'm on the Prosper train as well. But yeah, I think you could play both, like you said. We'll see who starts. That obviously makes a difference. I think it'll be Prosper, but we don't know for sure. Scotty doesn't know. Yeah. And what about a pivot off of Gafford, who's going to be, Sabres got him at 50% ownership. That feels right. What about Musa Cisse, who he's been getting the backup 5 or some minutes in the backup 5, decent fantasy score per minute. And we only think, if we think Gafford's playing around half the game, right, around 24 minutes, I think is fair. It could be Cisse on the rest of it. He's 3,100. Good matchup for him, too. I think he's a little risky, but
is Cisse even there, DC?
What's that?
Is he even there? I don't see him.
Yeah, he played, just 7 minutes last game, but.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah, he's there, I think.
Cubs says doubtful.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my bad if I missed that.
Yeah, that's all right.
Oh, yeah, you're right. He is doubtful.
They got Dwight Powell, so I think that backs up the point the other way.
Yeah,
I hate Dwight Powell.
Never mind. Give me Gafford at 4,400.
Yeah, refresh saver. There you go.
Yeah.
Don't play Cisse. I don't think he's gonna be playing here.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I get what you're saying though about the pivot. He's definitely the chalk from this game that I have the hardest time with because the matchup is so good. It's just so right for someone like him to just dominate the boards because that's what he likes to do, right? DC, he likes to just under the rim, will put it back in, rebound, run. He can easily be really good against this Memphis team. It's just maybe he's just like too banged up, but you just don't see the same Dan Gafford as we saw in the past before. So I get what you're saying.
You could also see this game go really small. I mean, the total sitting around 240 kind of reflects that. Both teams very short on big. So yeah, this game could really pick up in pace and be an awesome fantasy game.
Yeah, but like that should be good for him. Honestly, he likes to run a little bit as a big. So I agree with you. I hate playing Max Christie too, but it's the slate we're in. Like these Dallas guys are the best plays. So yeah, it is what it is. But Gafford or Mitch Rob, I think you got to play Gafford. Like the Mitch Rob is just like the low owned pivot if you want low ownership.
I'm probably eating the Gafford chalk, honestly. Is what it is.
Yeah, I get it though. You if you're gonna pivot to someone like pivot to a low owned guy. If you're gonna pivot off that. All right, so that is the best DFS game of the night. Hopefully, no shenanigans with Memphis and Dallas there. Let's go to the game of the night, in my opinion. Denver and OKC, the two teams, I mean, kind of projected to be the 1-2 and meet in the Western Conference Finals, DC, or at some point in the playoffs. And, the one big news right now that we're definitely waiting for, besides Harden on this slate, is what happens with Jamal Murray. Do they sit Jamal Murray, who's got an illness, or does he try and push through it and play? This game is in OKC. It wouldn't shock me if they gave Jamal the night off, but also, I'm sure Jamal wants to go in this spot against OKC, former champs from last year. So it's tough. We're probably not going to get the news before lock. Jamal's not going to be owned either. So if you somehow have like spots and like that could be like a way to get leverage on this, playing someone like that if he did get ruled in. But what are you doing with this news, DC? Is it affecting you at all? Or are you just like, if I play Jokic, I play Jokic, but I don't know if I want anyone else depending on Jamal news?
Yeah, Jamal in his last game, was that just yesterday? Two days ago. He attempted to play through the illness. I assume it's the same illness, and then had to tap out after like 8 minutes, which you almost never see something like that, right? A star player plays through the illness and just can't do it. So that tells me that he was,
Caleb Martin downgraded the doubtful, by the way. Harden game time decision. So
yeah, the
Caleb Martin thing downgraded. That's kind of big because that moves them from, what do they got here? 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. So they got 9 bodies now.
Yeah. Big deal for Dallas. So we already take another body out of there. Just got to play these Dallas guys, I think, which we already talked about. But yeah, I think there's a pretty decent chance Murray misses this game. Obviously a tough spot for Denver going to play OKC, who's got most of their guys back, still missing AJ Mitchell and J-Dub, but they got SGA back in there. I assume he'll be somewhat limited in this game. I don't think I'm spending up for SGA. He's been out almost a month now. So we'll see with him. But Hardenstein, Holmgren both in there. Switching over to this game on Saber now. We talked about like Jokic I just don't really care about the matchup. Obviously, like on paper, it's not great against OKC, against Hardenstein and Chet, but for Jokic, I don't care. And especially if Jamal misses, right? Like the matchup doesn't really affect Jokic, but Jamal out certainly does. He has to do even more if Jamal Murray is out. Peyton Watson also out and Aaron Gordon as well. So if Denver's going to compete in this game, it's got to be through the Joker, who's a great spend, and you can certainly afford him on this slate. Sounds like you're going to play Jokic. No argument here. I'll play him as well if he fits my builds. What about the OKC side? I mean, I don't know. You see anyone that really stands out? I kind of feels like a Jokic or bust game to me, but you have anyone else you're really looking at in this one?
OKC is definitely tough. You got SGA coming back for the first time in What has it been, like couple weeks now, right? Like almost a month, honestly, was the last time he played, I think.
Yep.
And, I would assume they're very careful with him, DC. So
Yeah.
honestly, I would like SGA on this slate if it wasn't his first game back, and I was for sure he was going to play like a huge role. But I think he's probably a tough click with it being the first game back here. So that kind of rules him out. Chet to me feels overpriced here in this spot at 8,600. You get, Case and Wallace with SGA back. I know he's had massive games, but I just can't click 6,700. You got Hartenstein at 64, playing, like you said, 25, 26 minutes. That's not the role I want. Jalen with the Y is 5,800. Can't click that. Isaiah Joe 50. All these guys seem priced out to me. So, I think this game, like, that I'll play it for Showdown. We'll have Showdown content up, I think, on the site for this game. This is the late night hammer, so we'll have Showdown content up. But I think in terms of the main slate, I mean, I don't know how you're paying for these OKC guys unless you just want to overpay for a Chet, or take the chance that SGA just comes back and is playing his normal minutes, which I don't think happens. So. I don't like it, DC. I'm probably out on OKC as a whole.
Me too.
And then, Jokic, I'm definitely going to play. Like you said, if Jamal's out, even if Jamal's in, it's still Jokic. He's still fine. But if Jamal's out, I mean, the role is just so pure. And someone asked about Cam Johnson. He's just a guy He's a guy I never click. Just another guy. Like I'll miss the 1 or 2 games where he puts up the 30. Just not a guy. I would rather play Christian Brown. I think he's got like a little more upside to the game, and with Jamal out, it could help him. Bruce Brown's probably not a main slate play, but someone for Showdown. If Jamal's out, though, Bruce Brown isn't the craziest play. He played 28 minutes in the game against Boston, shot 1 for 8 from the field in that game, but still had almost 20 fantasy points, shooting 1 for 8, DC. I don't think Bruce Brown's the craziest play if Jamal Murray's out, and you know that.
Yeah, I think you need Murray to be out to consider him, like you said. But yeah, 4,500, I don't have a problem with there. I'm with you on Christian Brown. I think he's the better play over Cam Johnson, but really, Jokic is the one that I want from this game. I'm not playing OKC, like you said.
Yeah. So the guys that get the bump for me, besides Jokic, if Jamal's out, would be Brown and Brown. Simple as that. Both Browns. Those are the 2 guys that I'm gonna like. And Caruso shutting down Jokic. I mean, it's just crazy what they let him get away with, but more power to it. Short, gotta respect it. You gotta respect the short guy guarding the 7'1" monster MVP down low. So, real quick, DC, the Caleb. Let's go back to the Martin news just real fast because we already talked about that game real quick. And with Caleb Martin out, who had been playing a decent role for this team, 23 minutes, his last 2 games played and stuff, you would have expected him to have a good role in this game. Now with him out, I mean, it's got to bump some of these guys a little bit. Maybe an AJ Johnson at stone 3K. I think he played like a few minutes last game. Yeah, 15 minutes in the game against Sacramento. DC went 4 for 4 from the field. I always thought he was a little talented too, AJ Johnson. Maybe just couldn't put it all together or something like that. I don't know, but I always thought he had some talent. I could be talked into someone like that at like stone 3K as long as he's definitely out, because I'm definitely not playing Dwight Powell. I just can't click it. No. Miles Kelly, he's also 3K. I think I'd prefer AJ at 3K. And then you got Tyson Jones, who I think still gets hurt by like Brandon Williams and Chris Middleton and some of these guys that want the ball in their hands a little bit more because Tyus wants the ball in his hands. Yeah, so I think AJ would be the weird, I guess the weird play for me. Maybe you should mix in though, like him, Tyus, Kelly, just a little bit if you're 150ing. But do you have a take on those guys? Because right now I would lean AJ if I had to pick one of those weird like 3.5K guys.
I agree. I think AJ Johnson's the best of the super cheap guys, but really the Martin news just makes me more likely to load up on the Dallas starters, right? The main guys, Williams, Christie, Middleton, even Marshall, obviously. Honestly, JSU, I might have a team with all 5 Dallas starters in there.
Yeah, Dallas just, man. And on this slate too, this slate is not the friendliest slate. So this is definitely a state where if you just want to lean into a team that you feel is the best overall team on the slate with the most opportunity, it just has to be Dallas by far.
No question about it. Yep.
All right. That is all 5 games here, DC. Let's pull up the ownership here. We'll do the anti-play, and then we'll do plays of the day, and then we'll get out of here, get the core plays up over at runpuresports.com if you want to check it out for a week, a month, try it out. I think JSU 15 will get you 15% off if you want to use that and get 15% off your first month or week or whatever you want to try it out for. Try it out. Let us know what you think. We're in the Discord. Hit us up in the Discord. Any membership on the site will get you access to the Discord as well. If you want to come in, chat ball or any sport, we got MMA tomorrow. I'll have a show. Me and Mike will be on at 11 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow, just like every Saturday, talking MMA. So if you're into the MMA streets, check that show out tomorrow. Just another reason to make sure you're subscribed to this channel and also smash the like button. All right, DC, who do you got for your anti-play here? Anti-play of the day, the guy that you are fading that the field is higher on.
It's kind of a tough one today because, it's just all these Dallas guys and Memphis, and I'm on the Dallas guys. I'm playing small. So, like, the top of this list, at the very top.
You can't give Caleb Martin. Just saying.
It won't be Caleb Martin. Among the super popular Dallas guys, I think Middleton is the guy I'm most nervous about getting his minutes cut. But I still like him. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit further. I'll go to, you know what? I'm going with Jaylen Brown, 9,800. I like Cade better. I like Jokic better. I like Cat as a spend up. And I just think that game's going to be low scoring. I think it's going to be a Boston blowout. I don't think Brown gets his full run. So I'll go with Jaylen Brown as my anti-play of the day.
All right. So my head is telling me Daniel Gafford is going to smash this small Memphis team. And then my heart is telling me Daniel Gafford at 50% owned on a 5-game slate. What the fuck are you thinking?
Yeah,
playing Daniel Gafford at 15% owned.
You seem like a guy who follows your heart a little bit more, Jason.
I do. I definitely more of a heart overhead type player when it comes to DFS. And I can tell you're trying to get me to fade Daniel Gafford. Screw it. Give me Daniel Gafford at 50% owned. I might be buried 10 minutes into this slate, but I'll just go down like a champion right here to end this week. And if he crushes, then I'll just have to put a bag over my head for Monday's show. But that's the way it works here. So if Robert Williams can, Gafford can. I know Gafford is a good play, but at 50% owned, I think he's also worth taking a swing at going somewhere else. That's what I'm gonna say here. Because I agree with DC. Like the rest of these guys, like it's just that it's definitely a tough spot for one of these things. If I had to give another one, like Taylor Hendricks ownership at 26% seems a little high for Taylor Hendricks. But yeah, no, we'll go with Gaff. Let's go to play of the day here, DC. Who is the guy you can't leave without putting in your lineup?
We're getting zesty tonight. We're going with the big cat, Carl Anthony Towns, going to destroy Milwaukee on the interior. I kind of just left off the Dallas guys just because they're too highly owned. So Cat, 15% owned. I like him tonight.
All right, Carl Anthony Towns for DC. Who do I want to give? I want to give someone somewhat low owned. It's tough because these Cav guys, I can't give a Cav because I don't even know if James Harden's going to play, which makes it hard. Or I totally would say Craig Porter if I knew Harden was going to be out, but I don't know that. Yeah, it's a tough slate to give like a lower owned play here. Can't not give. I'll give. You know what? Just because I think he's probably. I'm not going to say he's safe, but I think he's a good tournament pivot here. I gave the Gafford fade. Give me another center besides Jokic. The double spend up at center, DC. Let's go Jalen Duran at center. I don't think anyone's going to double spend up at center. So just from a strategic lineup, if you're someone just like hand building a couple teams tonight, doing stuff like that will get you very different on the slate. Obviously on DraftKings, you can play the double centers. So you can play a Gafford plus a Jokic and everything. But I don't think many are going to want to double spend up at the center position. So let's go with that. Let's go with Jalen Duran as my play of the day. Hopefully he can get it done. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that show here. If you want more of the content, get over to runpuresports.com. We'll be back next week on Monday for more NBA. Like I said, tomorrow I got an MMA show at 11 a.m. on this channel. But that's going to do it. We're going to get in the Discord, get the core plays up, all the content. For DC, I'm JSU. Good luck in your NBA DraftKings 5-game slate tonight, and we'll catch you guys next week. We're out. Peace.